Welcome both in person and online to the First Unitarian Universalist Church. Since 1866, we have strived to be a church of open minds and loving hearts, celebrating many sources of wisdom and many spiritual paths. Your faith, your doubts, your questions, your identity are welcome here. For those at church this morning, you are invited to extend our time together on this very first day of the new year, Happy New Year, with refreshments and conversation in the Commons after the service. Children are welcome to stay with us today. There are crayons at each side of the sanctuary, and the drawing of our large copper chalice may be used as a coloring page. There is also preschool playroom for little ones, so feel free to take the children there following the lighting of our chalice, should it be needed. Due to illness, Anne Black-Senek and Gus Braga, who are listed in your order of service, will not be joining us this morning. We hope that they get healthy again soon. This Wednesday evening, join us for the weekly Tupper Supper at 5:30, followed by a very fun forum, Stump the Staff, at 6:30. So it's sort of a kind of reverse trivia where we, as members of the congregation, can ask questions of the First UU staff. They will answer questions related to their general job-related expertise, categories like UU history, spirituality, church music, and of course, everyone's favorite, church governance. Oh, and money. So join us for a fun time, supper at 5:30, stump the staff at 6:30. In this new month, our January collection will go to support the Rochester chapter of the NAACP, working for racial and social justice in our community through empowerment and relation building. You can give as the plates pass this morning or anytime online. And thank you ahead of time for your generosity to our social justice partner. UUs are invited to Squash Blossom Farm this coming Saturday, January 7th, for a 12th night Christmas tree bonfire. You can drop off a tree at 4:30 or arrive at 5 o'clock to pick up a candle, gather around the pyre, and sing songs. Registration is highly recommended to ensure enough cocoa and cookies. Also, the needed email in case of nasty weather. A word to the wise, parking is limited at the farm, so consider carpooling. And if you need more information, you can check with Barb Foss, or even better, the website, because that's where the registration form is. A special welcome to Matt Schulka, our guest musician. We are so grateful for your gift of music. I know it will lift our souls. Today is a special service, our annual ritual for change and growth. Whether you are here in person or online, I wish you to consider that unique something that from the old year that you want to relinquish, and an intention or a hope for the days ahead. You can reflect on those two things throughout the service of music and of poetry. Write your thoughts on small pieces of paper. If you are in the sanctuary and missed picking up paper and pencil, the ushers can make sure that you have the necessary supplies. Next week, after all of this unusual holiday schedule, we will return to 2 services at 9 and 11. Now let us enter into this time of worship with the words from our minister in the 1870s, the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. In a moment, the music will call us back together with hymn 347, Gather the Spirit. But in the meantime, before we sing, I invite you to give a quick wave to those online and greet those who are seated next to you. Please rise in body or in spirit.
Today's chalice lighting is brought to us by Paul Bacon. As we come together, let us pause to take stock of the year that just ended. Its moments of happiness and hurt, its times of failure and accomplishment, and its occasions of worry and inspiration. Let us add these experiences to the tapestries of our years and look bravely towards a new horizon on this first day of a new year.
We celebrated my mom's 99th birthday on Thursday. She still lives in the house my dad built 60 years ago. During the past few months, she has undertaken a new task, finding those things she has not used in years and feels she no longer needs. Nearly every day when I call her, she proudly describes what she has moved into the small green bedroom, her designated collection point, there to await my next visit when I will deliver these gently used items to the thrift store. Following her example, I've started decluttering our house. It is amazing just how much stuff is tucked up on closet shelves, hidden in desk drawers, or stashed in that way back corner of the bottom kitchen cupboard. Items that certainly served a purpose or filled a want, but which are mostly forgotten. It feels good to put into practice the 3 R's: reduce, recycle, and reuse. And it's a reason that I love our annual ritual for change and growth. For me, this worship practice serves as a mental decluttering, a time to assess an intangible aspect of my life with the same scrutiny I use when tackling the back hall closet. There is something uplifting, soul-mending about the simple act of writing words on paper, naming that which I want to relinquish, and honoring what will receive my attention in the days ahead before placing the piece of paper into our large copper chalice and letting the fire bless my intentions. My first thoughts of 2023 were tinged with wariness. After all, the past year has been filled with false starts and yet more uncertainty. In preparing for this ritual, I began nudging myself toward an attitude change. If only a shift in semantics. Rather than looking at the coming tomorrows with trepidation, I'm trying to change my language and look at the new year as a time of mystery, balancing cautiousness and excitement, looking at the days ahead with a sense of wonder. I recently rediscovered a volume of poetry by Langston Hughes, originally published for children, but with lyrical phrases that offer weighty advice to children of all ages. His poem, The Dream Keeper, gave me insight as to how I might approach my attitude adjustment. He wrote, "Bring me all your dreams, you dreamer. Bring me your heart melodies that I might wrap them in a blue cloud cloth, away from the too rough fingers of the world." That phrase, that I may wrap them in a blue cloud cloth, rang true. It held meaning as I gently wrapped my grandmother's heart-shaped mercury glass ornament and put it away for another year, carefully handling this fragile heirloom, all the while joyously remembering childhood memories and thoughts of future holidays. The poet's words held meaning as we planned today's service, understanding that hopes for today and tomorrow will need the same care from those too rough fingers of the world. And for me, our ritual for change and growth provides the blue cloud cloth in which I can safely wrap my dreams while looking for the wonder and the mystery of the days ahead, all the while feeling the support of this loving community. And for that, I say thank you. Breathe deep the breath of life. Breathe deep in this house of love and justice, hope and grace. Know that here you are named and known as beloved. We are grateful this day for those who serve this church, teaching, greeting, making coffee, caring for our building and our people in 1,000 ways. As we celebrate the old year's ending and the new days yet to come, we are grateful to mark the time with seasons. In all these seasons, may we give thanks for the breath of life, ever mindful of the fragile nature of existence. May we live fully each moment. I invite you into a time of quiet meditation, a time of prayer, first by sharing silence together. With our hearts centered, I invite you to bring to mind those you are holding dear to you this day, in joy or in sorrow, in celebration or concern, and silently or aloud now to speak their names into this sacred space. For all those names spoken and unspoken, may all be held in beauty and love. May we radiate love both within and beyond these walls this day and all the days to come, caring for those we love and for those who we have yet to meet. Please remain seated and join together in hymn 123, Spirit of Life, as a shared contemplation.
The first reading is Lines Written in the Days of Growing Darkness by Mary Oliver. Every year we have been witness to it, how the world descends into a rich mash in order that it may resume. And therefore, who would cry out to the petals on the ground to stay, knowing as we must how the vivacity of what was is married to the vitality of what will be. I don't say it's easy, but what else will do if the love one claims to have for the world be true? So let us go on, cheerfully enough, this and every crisp day, though the sun be swinging east and the ponds be cold and black, and the sweets of the year be doomed. The second reading is Burning of the Old Year by Naomi Shihab Nye. Letters swallow themselves in seconds. Notes to friends tied to the doorknob. Transparent scarlet paper sizzle like moth wings, marry the air. So much of any year is flammable, lists of vegetables, partial poems, orange swirling flames of days. So little is a stone. Where there was something and suddenly isn't, an absent shouts, celebrates, leaves a space. I begin again with the smallest numbers. Quick dance, shuffle of losses and leaves, the only things I didn't do, crackle after the blazing dies.
And our final reading, To the New Year by W.S. Merwin. With what stillness at last do you appear in the valley, your first sunlight reaching down to touch the tips of a few high leaves that do not stir, as though they had not noticed and did not know you at all. Then the voice of the dove calls from far away in itself to the hush of the morning. So this is the sound of you, here and now, whether or not anyone hears. This is where we have come with our age, our knowledge, such as it is, and our hopes, such as they are, invisible before us, untouched, and still possible. The ushers will receive your offering.
As we begin our ritual of change and growth, I invite you to look at your program as the words are listed on there. We come here to say that we have felt loss, have known separation, have mourned, have resisted and feared the threat of life's changes. We gather to realize the potential within us. Growth is forever the same, that we move toward our ultimate shape, that our energies run like a stream, finding life's channels wherever they lead. In the process, we must take on and cast off ways of being. The lesson of growth is the lesson of now. The strength of our spirit resides where we are, not only where we've been. The courage to live is the courage to leave and be left by our stages of being. In abandoning that which held our hearts in bondage, as we recognize endings, so we too invite beginnings. All is ours for the keeping, but none of it possesses you. We carry some things along, and we let some things go. May we find the courage to separate from fear and dependencies. May we risk the ache of growth and change. As we continue to seek out the stories of hope in our world and in the new year, there are also some things we would very much like to put behind us from the old year. So on one side of your paper, write words to cast away and put behind you, to let them go with the old year. On the other side of your paper, write your words of intention, words to be blessed by the fire of commitment, the intentions that we each will carry forward in hope and in love for the year to come. As the music plays, you can come forward and place the paper in the soon-to-be burning bowl, words to let go, words that may spark into being in this chalice flame.
May what you have released here be forever gone from your spirit and cease to trouble you. May you be relieved and renewed, ever mindful that love is always more powerful than fear, and that compassion is the key to freedom from resentment. May your soul be held in love, rooted in hope and courage during the year to come. As the fire continues to burn, and we will let it go out completely, please rise in body or in spirit to sing our final hymn, number 350, The Ceaseless Flow of Endless Time. Our benediction words come from the Reverend Lois Van Leer. We extinguish our chalice, having let go, set our intentions, named our curiosity, committed our energies, and knowing we will strive for lives of balance, purpose, and meaning. Let us begin again in love.